It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video with a cinema. It's movie time. It's movie time. And the odds divine. It's movie time. It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John
And
DeSando,
I'm Mindy Mcfann.
and this is It's Movie Time.
Yes, it is.
Well, Mindy, you know, you're still a young woman, and I'm getting on in age.
Relative terms.
Right. And I so appreciate getting a movie that respects elderly people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one.
Nice.
We have one called Thelma.
Yeah.
What's
sweet.
up with this?
It's sweet. It's funny. It's charming. And Richard Roundtree's still eye candy. It's impressive. He's 80 years old. I didn't even recognize him. My husband said, "Do you know who that is?" I said, "No." And then I looked at his face and I went, "Holy crap, I do know who that is." And he held up quite well, I dare say.
I just thought he was. I read recently that was his last performance. I don't know what that meant. What does that mean?
He passed.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, you never know.
No.
He does look pretty sharp to me.
He sure does. Only thing missing was his leather coat.
Well, we have a 93-year-old actress,
Yes.
June Squibb.
Does an awesome job.
Yeah, you might have remembered her from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a terrific job there. She got everybody's notice.
Yes.
But she's 94 now, but when she was doing this film, she's 93. Mindy!
Yeah. And I love that she did all her scooting on her own.
Yes. They had kind of a fancy scooter.
Yeah.
You know, we often think of the ones in Florida.
Yeah.
With the golf carts.
Right,
But this
right.
This is something where you can really ride the streets.
Yes. It's just, it was really dear.
So
really dear.
what propelled this movie? What, as a story?
Well, it's based on a true story, and this woman gets a phone call. Ironically, my mother-in-law got a phone call just like this about my son, that he was in jail, and this is one of those scams. And so she gets a phone call that her grandson's in trouble, and she needs to send him money to, help him. And she just panics. She gets $10,000 and drops this off or mails it to a P.O. box.
Who did?
Pardon me?
This is the movie. This is not you.
Oh yeah, that's the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my mother-in-law called us
Oh, good.
when it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was very believable.
And she thought there was something strange about his voice, but at that, what I like here is that every one of us can be in that panic mode.
Sure.
And not using our faculties as well as we might because we so love our friends.
Absolutely.
And she, of anybody in the film, she gets along with her grandson.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely a bond between the grandson and, I mean, he's so dear and sweet with her and loving. I mean, they are to each other. It's really beautiful.
I love the parallel between her and him. He's kind of lost.
Yeah.
Some.
Well, he's his age and she's her age.
I know. And he can't quite get himself together, I think, right, for an occupation or something.
Yeah, he's young. I mean, that's pretty common
But in
at
his
that age.
20s, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the mother thinks they're both doing it wrong.
Who was played by Parker Posey.
Yes,
Do you
I love
remember
her.
Parker Posey?
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Parker Posey.
Really?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've loved her forever in her little indie movies and stuff.
I know.
I'm a big fan of Parker
She
Posey.
was the queen of indies for such a long time.
Absolutely.
She actually looks very good. Everybody looks good when they put them behind the camera. But she did look particularly good, I thought, in this.
I just love her as an actress. Just love her.
She's the daughter?
Yes. And the mother.
Yeah, and the mother of him,
Uh-huh.
of So let's get their names straight. He's Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
and she's Gail. And Clark Gregg plays her husband, which I didn't find as a role that was...
I didn't think that role was... I like him. I mean, he makes me laugh in other shows.
Right.
But I didn't think his part just wasn't as big.
Right, yeah. And in fact, Parker Posey's Gail isn't that effectual. She's actually kind of negative, I think, about the situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, what is that? The reason grandparents and grandchildren get along is they have a common enemy. And I think that's, you know, she judges her son to some degree for not getting on with his life and wants her mother to slow down her life.
Yes.
So she doesn't approve of either of them, the way they're handling things. And, you know, that's fairly stereotypical.
So how does Roundtree come into this?
She knows him, Thelma knows him, and she goes over to borrow his scooter. And he's happily ensconced in a retirement home. She still lives in her own house. And she goes over and asks to borrow a scooter, and he says no. And so she steals it. And he catches her. So then that sets them on this adventure to get her money back.
Right, so everybody got a Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid.
Yes.
The two of them off, going around town to try to find the scammers.
After she goes to a friend's house and steals her gun.
And you know that old cliche. You see a gun in the early part, you know it's going to appear. It's going to reappear.
Right, right.
Filmmakers don't usually show you that without presaging that this is going to be, and it is.
Yeah.
And it's a cute, actually, use.
Yeah. Yeah.
The unbelievable part of this, of course, is that she does find the address.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key to this.
Right.
Getting the address of the scammers.
Right, right.
And for some reason she's thrown it away, but then she discovers it in the garbage.
Yep, yep.
It was actually garbage in the post office.
Yeah, she finds the P.O. box. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they watch the P.O. box for the person to go in. And this kid goes in to empty the P.O. box, and they follow him back to a store where he and Malcolm McDowell, of all people, are hanging out.
I will tell you,
these scams.
My spirits were revived when I said, wait a minute, I think that's Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Who can play an older bad boy as well as anybody.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
He's the scammer.
Yes. He's got this young kid helping him. And
yeah. And another parallel situation where the young kid isn't quite formed yet, although he's the kind of the bad side of the grandson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at them as two characters.
Right,
You
right.
got this kid, and we're not used to seeing somebody that young in a movie that bad it would appear.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the depth of what they were doing is just survival, and the kid was trying to get by, and the older guy was trying to get by, you know, and they just picked a really bad way to do it because his lamp store wasn't working.
Yeah, I know, which was a kind of curio shop. Was it a lamp store?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And it's a shambles.
Yes.
And you almost, and McDowell can make you sympathize even though he's a bad boy. In this.
Right,
Again,
right.
Another acting, a case where the acting makes the difference, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? And the actor.
Absolutely.
And the unbelievable parts of this, Mindy. You know, people are going to say, hey, oh yeah, you know, probably a fantasy for sure. A 93-year-old woman going after scammers.
Well, yes and no. I don't know. You get pretty gutsy as you get older because you're like, screw it, you know? You don't have time to mess around. And I think it was representative of the sometimes humiliation that can come with the age, where you are no longer treated the same way. And how do you react to that? And she reacted to it with a lot of fervor.
All right, Mindy Mcfann. People are going to have to go to the website, WCBE.org, to the podcast experience.
Absolutely.
And to Backtalk. So what do you recommend?
Go see this, especially people who are always wanting movies that are easy to watch and comfortable. Go see this movie. It'll make you happy.
It's called Thelma.
Yes, it is.
Catch it before it goes.
Uh-huh.
It's movie time with DeSando and his friends online. So everything everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom, he's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island,